gentlemen, I'm very excited to welcome our special guest today, Jason Sen. Jason is a personal friend of mine. I met Jason as my neighbour in Phuket, in Thailand. When I got to know him, I was absolutely amazed at his story. The fact that at the age of 19, I believe he became a trader in the London stock market, stock exchange. And you've grown to be a financial advisor or forex advisor on day trading ideas, leading provider of daily technical analysis. People pay you from all over the world for your expertise on how to trade indexes, forex, commodities, and fixed income futures.
True.
Sounds really complicated. So also that you could have easily retired at a young age, and you decided to move to Phuket with your beautiful family, and you started a project to develop a number of houses, and that's become to 7 beautiful homes, and you established a business there, a successful business there, which I truly admire, because I couldn't work in Thailand. And you've done very, very well.
I think that was more stupidity than
but you turned the stupidity into a really successful business.
Blimey, took a few years off my life in the process, I think.
Well, welcome anyway to our offices in Dubai, and I know you've flown especially for this podcast.
Indeed.
So doubly honoured. Very welcome. And so tell me a little bit about you, things that I already know but the audience doesn't know. You have a beautiful family, 2 amazing children. Tell us about them. Thank you. Tell us about that lifestyle. Why Phuket?
Okay, so, well, when my wife and I first got together, which was about 15, 16 years ago, I kind of had enough of trading for a little while. It's highly stressful. So, and I'd had a patch of losing some money. So I thought, sod this, why don't we take off falling in love? So we went off I took her around Southeast Asia, and one of the stops was in Phuket, and her uncle was there. So I met him, we got on well, and he showed me. You
didn't live in London though, you lived in Spain at the time, right?
Actually, we lived in London at the time, and then we went to Spain after we came back from Asia. So, I met her uncle, and he showed me this potential development on a golf course in Phuket. And at the time, I was actually looking to move my money out of Europe and into Asia. I saw Asia as the future, and Asian currencies as a good investment. So I took that on board, but I've had no experience in building anything. I wasn't an architect, wasn't even an interior designer, so I really was relying on him to do most of it.
Trust element, you put the money in as an investor.
That was the plan. I just thought I was going to sit back and all the money was going to roll in. Of course, that doesn't work like that, of course. And so in the end, we decided to come over and finish the...
So you moved to Spain,
yes.
Although you felt there was opportunity in the Far East, but you decided not to live there.
Yeah, I wasn't ready. We weren't ready for such a big move, but I certainly wanted to live in the sunshine. So we moved to Sota Grande in southern Spain, and a lot of
beautiful home.
It's a lovely area. Actually, really enjoyed it. And I was lucky because a lot of traders were moving out to Gibraltar, because once the trading floor shut, you could trade on screen. So therefore, you could be anywhere in the world really.
Why Gibraltar? Is it tax
reasons? Yeah, you could sit there and trade. Almost tax-free, so it made sense. You could trade in the sun, and you could pop over to Spain on the weekend.
Did you trade?
Yes,
I was trading. So did you move to Gibraltar to trade?
Yes.
Oh, really? So, but I guess you didn't have to, but you needed some kind of an office. Do you have to physically trade?
So it went on screen. So the physical trading was on the floor in London. So I was lucky enough to start in 1987 when the derivatives market was kind of taking off. It was really right place, right time for me.
What's derivatives?
Derivatives are financial products. So, for example, you will have the FTSE index, which I think most people have heard of.
Yes.
And then if you want to trade options or futures on that, the options and futures are a derivative of the index. I see. So they tend to be more volatile. They were introduced or they were invented as a hedging instrument, but because they tend to be more volatile,
you could lose a lot more. You could
you can actually
make
magnify
a lot more,
your trading profits or losses.
Are they I'll do options. Are they attached to a time scale?
Options are attached to a time scale. So futures, they both have expiry dates.
They're usually time sensitive.
Correct. They usually run in 3-month cycles. So as you know, options will have time premium value on them.
With options, you decide the time. It could be a week, few days, a month.
Yeah, correct. They've now got
with
all
futures,
sorts of time.
it's 3 months at a time.
Generally, exchange-traded futures are generally run on a 3-month expiry, but they don't generally have a time premium in it.
You started at the age of 19.
I did.
Education background?
So I went to Mill Hill School, which was great fun, and then I went to a sixth form college. But I always wanted to get into the city. I didn't really know why.
Or how.
True.
Yeah.
But I think it was just because I wanted money and I wanted to drive a nice car. My father was trading his own money, so that kind of got me interested. And
those days there weren't computers and the internet, right?
Correct.
So how did he trade his own money?
So he actually, it's quite an interesting question. He would nowadays, if you want to follow charts of any financial product, of course you just switch your computer on and there's as many platforms as you want. In those days he would literally buy graph paper and stick them together with sellotape, and he would plot his charts on a graph paper. He'd have it all across
Stocks
the wall.
and shares or forex?
He was mostly an index trader.
Amazing.
So yeah, and he would sit in an office and he'd pick up the phone when he wanted to trade and say, "Where's this?" Yeah, in fact, there wasn't probably even a live feed.
I thought with forex, it's so time sensitive. You have to know instantly what's happening. Those days wasn't so time sensitive. No?
Forex probably was still quite time sensitive, but you'd probably leave
How
resting
did you do it
orders
by
in.
a telephone and a chart?
Well, yeah, I would imagine in those days it was different for what I was doing because I was actually on the floor, so I could see the prices live. But I was imagining if you're sitting in an office, you'd sort of say, "Phone me up if the market does this or if the market does that," or you'd leave an order in. If it gets here, sell it. So.
Was your father a successful businessman?
He was a successful businessman, not so much a successful trader.
Sure.
He was a gambler, really, not really what I would call a
So
trader.
he liked the
Chinese guy.
Uh-huh.
Chinese loved
Was
to
he
gamble.
fully Chinese?
Full Chinese.
Amazing.
So
from where?
He had that gambling instinct.
Hong Kong.
Originally from Beijing, which was Peking in those days. But funnily enough, he wasn't born there. He was born in Africa, so he never actually went to China.
Wait, did he speak Mandarin?
No. Don't think so. I think he spoke Swahili from being born in Africa.
You kidding me? And then why did he end up in the UK?
When he was about 18, he decided he wanted to try and make his fortune. So he travelled to the UK. He didn't speak English, so he learned English from a dictionary. He's quite a smart guy and started working as a
Is he still with us?
No, unfortunately not. I lost him last year. Yeah.
Last year?
Yeah, not long ago.
When I knew you.
I'm sorry?
I knew you then. But we weren't that close.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, he's a good guy. I lived till 80. He had a good run, so I was happy enough with that. He started as a tea boy in a company and worked his way up to managing director. And it's funny, when we used to talk to him, I've got 3 siblings, we all used to laugh with his vocabulary because he uses quite extensive vocabulary, like very formal.
Because
he
it was
talking
dictionary.
to us.
Yes.
Because he learned English from a dictionary. So we'd all laugh and joke about how he would speak.
But your
to
mum
us.
wasn't Chinese?
No, my mum's Irish.
Irish. So how did they meet?
They met at the company that he went and worked at. He worked his way up to managing director.
So she was impressed by this high-rolling...
I guess so.
Yeah.
I guess so.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So your mum was still with us? Is she?
Mum's still with us. She lives in
Fantastic.
America.
Why America?
They divorced when I was about 16, and she met an American.
Oh, so she's remarried.
So she remarried, went to live in Denver. Unfortunately, he's no longer with us. But
Did
she
your
stayed
dad
there.
remarry?
No, he did not. No, my dad had a terrific life though, because he spent after they divorced. When I traded and I made some money, I learned from him not to blow it. Fortunately, because he blew
By his
everything.
mistakes, not
Exactly.
because... Yeah.
So I was.
He wasn't leading by example.
No. So I would buy a house or a business or something. So I bought a little. Well, actually, I bought a house and I said, "Oh, Dad, what shall I do now?" I was about 22 or something. I said, I made some money. He said, "Well, what, I said, "You're a good businessman." So I said, "What should we do?" He said, "Well, I'll tell you what. We'll just buy a corner shop. I'll run it, and I think we can make some money, and the family will have a job." So he was really lucky in that my brothers and sister, they were younger than me. I'm the oldest, so they
worked it.
They worked in the shop, and he got to see his kids every day, and he ran the shop. And then actually, when we all started having kids, he also saw a lot of the grandkids. So
he left being an MD of a company, and then ran the corner shop.
Yeah. Well, he was he was the MD of the company. Then he set up his own company and did quite well out of that.
Okay.
And then he went into trading, and then it didn't go quite so well financially, shall we say?
Sure. What was it? Food you owned, or the corner shop? What was
it was literally convenience store. So
Amazing.
It was tin food and frozen food.
Still going?
No. We in the end, when he wanted to retire, I turned it back into a residential home and sold it.
Okay. Isn't it amazing? You were 22.
22, 23.
You were talking to Jeff earlier. He was 19.
Yeah.
Is this sense of providing and everything is amazing.
Yeah.
Because at 22, people are just blowing their money and socializing and don't care about anybody but themselves. Right?
Well, probably one of the best things that happened to me was when I was 16. I lived a good life. My father had worked very, very hard. We didn't see a lot of him, but he worked really, really hard. Put us all through private school, so we were, we had a good education. And then he blew everything through trading, actually, and that was a real shock to me.
I would have thought that would put you off.
No, actually, what it did to me was because I was the oldest. We had a beautiful family home. My dad had a Rolls Royce. We had a swimming pool in the garden. So I was privileged. No question about that. So it's quite a shock. I didn't see that coming. Suddenly, I'm like, wow, And I just took this thing on where I was going to rescue the family. I was going to buy the house back, and we were all going to be happy again. So actually, it was quite a great motivator. Really good.
Did you?
No, no, I did actually in a way, because I bought. I didn't buy my siblings' houses, but when they were ready to rent something, I'd say, look, that rent's quite high. Choose a house that you like. I'll buy it, and then you can pay me the rent, but a lot less rent. I'll give you a good deal. And I bought them all a car and that kind of thing. So for some reason, I took on this paternal role.
Hasn't stopped, really, has it?
No, maybe
you continue to do so.
A little bit.
You take care of a lot of people.
A little bit.
Yeah, but to you, it's natural. I've noticed to you, it's natural. That's what you've always done.
I think you've got the same instincts as me.
Yeah, amazing. So tell us about how did you get at 18 into the city?
Well, in those days it was an awful lot easier to get in the city. 1987, so I was doing my A-levels and I wrote off to various brokerage companies.
No university graduate, nothing,
no,
A-levels?
No, I was studying for A-levels, I didn't even have them. But, as I said, I was in the right place at the right time. The market.
Were you a smart kid? Were you really good at maths?
No, I'm a very average student. I had to work hard to get B's and A's. So anyway, wrote the CV off. Actually, funnily enough, the company that my dad was trading through, in the end, took me on. Probably as a favour.
So they owed it to your dad, I guess.
Maybe.
It's because your dad were in existence, right? So might as well hire you.
Exactly.
Right? Okay.
But as I say, they were hiring. They needed people.
Okay.
So I was very lucky. I didn't really know what the job entailed. First day I've turned up in my new suit, 18 years of age. It's 1987. It's April 1987. Turned up at the office, and I'm not sure what the hell's going to happen. The next thing they're like, right, come on. I sat around for an hour and they went, come on. And I'm following them down. Next thing I'm on the stock exchange floor, and I didn't know. I was like, wow, I'd only seen it on TV.
And you felt the energy. You had to be running around shouting and screaming.
Definitely. Well, the stock trading had stopped. We just had big bangs, and that had gone sort of computer-based.
Okay.
Wow. But there was a corner of the stock exchange which had been taken over by the London Traded Option Market, so it's sort of a new derivatives market, just trading options on stocks. And
this is your first day?
So I'm down there and just clerking, just doing the paperwork. But then...
So hang on, how did you do the paperwork?
So
somebody shout you go and collect the paper, deliver it somewhere else?
Exactly. So the process was the phones would ring. We'd be in a booth on the side of the floor away from the trading pits, and then the phone would it wouldn't ring, it would flash. So the broker would hit the button, take the order, write it on a slip of paper, and then the broker and then give it to a dealer. The dealer would go into the floor, execute the order, come back. So quickly I got elevated to a phone broker. So I was just taking orders. It wasn't complicated, but you had to work quickly and efficiently.
The clients?
Yeah, so the banks would be phoning through the orders. Buy me 3 calls of BP or something, and then you timestamp it, and then. But as I say, the market was expanding so quickly. Within about 6 months, I was taking my dealer's exams, and I was going out and executing orders, which was absolutely frightening. I was petrified.
Why? The order comes from the customer, right? So
yes.
You're only executing an order. You're not making a decision.
Correct. No, there was no financial risk to me, but it's a very intimidating environment. You're going into a place with guys who are a little bit older than me, but still in their 20s, earning 6 figures, and they were brash, arrogant, and the job was to intimidate you because they want you to sort of panic,
crumble.
And they want to. What do you want? They want to, and they're all shouting at you. So you're like, what's the price of the 550 calls? And they're all like, 6.8, 6.9, and they're trying to confuse you and they're trying to baffle you. When you first do this, you're like, oh my god, they're all shouting at me. What do I do? And if you trade with one guy, you don't trade with another guy's like, why don't you effing trade with me? And it's bullying. That was the city.
So they get physical as well.
Not physical, but
pushing
certainly
and shoving and
not so much. Not on that market, but they would try and intimidate you, and it certainly worked with me. I was pooing myself. And then in October 1987, of course, there was that big stock market crash. So
Black Wednesday.
Yep, that's Black Monday.
Monday.
Lasted, I think, 2 or 3 days.
What's a couple of days between friends?
There you go. Stock market's down 50% or something.
So what happened? I had homes then, and I had 8 houses. I was one.
Wow. So you're
And
doing all
I
right.
had a number of houses.
Did you
I was
really?
flipping, I was renting.
Wow, okay.
And then the interest rates went up. I don't know if you recall, to crazy amounts, like more than 10%.
I think you're talking about the ERM crisis in 1992.
It would have been, yeah. I think
Yeah,
it was
that was when
Thatcher was in.
Yeah, we were in an exchange rate mechanism which was supposed to peg the British pound to the Deutsche Mark, I think it was, and it became untenable because the economies were not aligned, and pretty much everyone could see that they could not support the pound. The pound had to go down.
Because it was weaker.
Yeah, exactly. The British economy was weaker. I imagine inflation must have been weaker, something like that. So
interest rates went to record highs, and then
yeah.
I was panicking because I was making money. Let's say I was making £200-300 a house. It's a nice income. I had 8 of them.
Wow, nice.
And then suddenly
Especially
I
in
was
those
losing
days.
£600-700 a month.
Sure. Yeah, they were
in a
ramping up
matter of
interest
a
rates.
couple of months. I lost all my houses. I walked in
Jesus,
I walked into one house, and somebody else was sitting in my lounge watching TV.
God, really?
You've been repossessed, and somebody else had moved in.
Wow.
I didn't even know.
So that was the early 90s.
I lost everything.
That's
and I
awful.
haven't gone into property since.
Really? It
Scared
really
me so
scarred you?
much, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's terrible. What a story. And you were so young.
Yes.
I remember that very clearly, actually. The markets were crazy, and it was very exciting. But by this time I was a trader, so when the crash happened in '87, by December I was out of a job, and I thought, oh my God, that's the end of my career.
Really?
in the city.
Just
all my dreams
sweep
dashed.
the floor and said, right, that's it.
Yeah, the volumes just died. So we've gone from a rapidly expanding market to something that, the volumes just collapsed, and they had to get rid of people. In fact, I remember
the phone
my boss
stopped ringing. You could see the phone not.
Yeah,
the
phone
lights
just weren't
weren't
ringing.
flashing as much.
Exactly.
Really.
My boss actually cried when he sacked us. He was desperately upset. He's a really sweet guy. Luckily, for some reason,
Had you made money?
had I made money? Oh no, I was on about £8,000 a year, which at the time was a fortune. In
Yes.
'87 as a 19 or 18-year-old.
Amazing.
So, but luckily, just by pure luck, really, someone decided to take me on as a market maker, as a trader. A few months later, someone phoned me up and said, "Look, we'd like to take you on." So I couldn't believe it, and that was actually a really lucky break.
And you had no experience.
No, they were looking to expand. It was a Dutch trading company, and they trained me up as a market maker. And so then I was actually trading the company
How long
money.
was the training?
It was just ongoing. It really was a bit more sink or swim.
It's quite scary, isn't it? That you're dealing with real money.
Real money.
And you learn as you go along. You think they'll invest a lot more time and effort into.
Well, in those days, there weren't courses that you could go on or anything. So you're already just standing next to a trader, and he's explaining how to put on a cool butterfly, or a cool ladder. So you're learning these strategies, and you're trying to learn how to spread the book off to minimise the risk. And so it's fascinating, but it took a lot longer to learn. Anyway,
Especially when it's real money. People's
real money. Yeah.
What's the most amount of money you've had to trade? Millions, billions?
Well, after the Dutch company I worked for, and then I got poached by an American guy. He was a very, very big trader in Chicago, and he set up an operation in London, and then he came and offered me a job. And he was very wealthy and pretty much gave us enough rope to hang ourselves. It didn't really work in that he would give you an account with $1 million in it. It would just be like, you trade, and if your position gets bigger and bigger,
I'll give you more and more.
I'll give you more and more. Yeah. So kind of all we knew was what our margin call was, and he was quite keen to be the biggest in the market. So I just got lucky that I happened to work for him.
Is he a famous guy?
Famous within
in the
industry, certainly.
Did that business carry on? Is he still?
Yeah. He's very successful now, mega successful. So
what did you learn from him?
what did I learn from him?
Well, his aggressiveness or
yeah,
positivity, or
go for it, really. I mean, in those days, the spreads were much wider, so therefore profit margins were wider, and it was very very volatile, good volumes. So if you were in the right place at the right time, you really could make
a lot of money.
Yeah, and actually, the event that you're referring to, the 1992 ERM crisis, when we crashed out, and interest rates went up to 10%, 12%, and then 15%.
I think it was 15, 50, 60%. Yeah, that's right.
But it was unsustainable, and pretty much everyone, like George Soros, knew that couldn't happen. I didn't know. I was in my early 20s. I thought, well, if a politician said something, you just believed him.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I didn't realise they lied.
Nigel Lawson, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's right. I think it was. So anyway, but it was phenomenal. It was probably the best trading week of my life because it was just all over the place. And if you knew what you were doing,
you made money.
There was money just on the table.
Did you make money?
Made 7 figures in a week, in 4 days.
Whoa.
I was only
early
23.
20s.
I was 23.
Yeah.
Obviously, I was only on a split of that, but it was very exciting. By Friday, I was so exhausted I couldn't speak. I actually couldn't even be bothered to stand there and try to make more money. I just couldn't physically do it.
Were you a party guy? Were you a yuppie?
A yuppie. I did have the mobile phone, I think. I didn't have the Porsche. Yeah, I got carried away. I totally became... So I like gone to public school. And then you go down on the trading floor and it's a different environment completely, you know. Essex guys, East End guys.
There's no manners and after you, please.
Yeah, no, it's dog eat dog. They're not mucking around, you know. They want the money, you know. So yeah, you had to be quite aggressive. So I really kind of became a different person. I thought either I get a lot more aggressive, and
Did that happen in your personal life as well?
Yeah, you kind of become this person. You become the trader, and it was terrific. The excitement and the banter, and these are really smart guys, and the sense of humour.
Do you think you were invincible?
You did when you were in the pit. When you got home, kind of came back to earth a bit, and obviously, you had dreadful times where I'd lose big chunks of money. I'd go.
And it
home.
would affect you.
Oh God, yeah.
Ever fear for your job? You think?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
And people did lose their jobs.
Yeah, and a lot of people lost all their money as well. Not a lot of people. Some people would lose all their money too. So, it's high risk.
When you're a trader, can you trade with your own money, or you're not allowed to?
Yes. A lot of traders. Excuse me. Traders who traded their own money were 100% local. They're called local traders. Okay. So they put up their own money. They're in the pit. Whatever they make or lose is all theirs.
Okay.
I had a backer, so I was on like a 50-60% deal. So I got a cut of what I made. Well, you would either be backed or you would use your own money.
You can't do both. You can't use your own money and you can't trade.
No, you can only trade one account on the floor.
Right.
And some of these guys are in their 20s making a lot of money.
And what does it take to be a trader? Apart from the education stuff, you have to have a license. You have to be associated to a broker.
So to be a trader on the floor, all you had to do is do the trading exam and find some money.
So anybody off the street could have done that?
Yeah, you had to rent a seat on the floor, and then you would go down and do your exam. But the exam didn't teach you how to trade or how to make money trading. It taught you how to actually execute a trade. Yes. So in those days, it was the colour jackets that you've seen maybe on the TV, shouting and screaming, waving your hands. So it taught you the process of executing an order within the pit. It didn't say, right, if you do this, you're going to make money. Yes. That was down to you to figure out.
Do you ever put an order and you thought it was done and it wasn't taken?
That did happen sometimes, but I was standing in the pit, so I was reacting to the brokers. So the brokers would stand around the edge of the pit, and the traders would stand in the middle of the pit, and we'd feed off the brokers. So the broker would be standing on the edge of the pit, and he'd be looking at his phone broker who's in the booth.
Yes.
Now, of course, you can't talk. It's too loud. There's 3,000 people screaming their heads off. So the broker would be like getting the order through his hands, and then he'd turn into the pit. But he'd also use his hand signals to trade in the pit because you often couldn't hear him, especially like there might be a guy over there trying to execute an order, a guy over there, a guy over here.
My God.
So you'd be like, as a market maker, you're trying to take in all that's going on.
Information.
What's he trying to do? What's he trying to do? You can't be like, what are you doing? You'd be going, what's the size in that? I'll send you 200, and you're doing all the hand signals. At the same time, you're writing the cards out, stick them in your pocket, and you're trying to do your hedge. So you've got your futures broker in the pit over there.
Crazy.
And you have to, your mind has to work so quickly. It's only simple maths, but it has to be razor quick.
It's coming at different angles, and you've got to execute.
And of course, you've got everyone else who's trying to compete with you. It's not just you. You've got maybe 50 people in the pit also trying to fight for that money.
And you can see the price, because the demand, the price is going up in front of you, so you have to.
Yeah. So you got to. So you're trying to. Yeah. You have to. And it's you. It was the first person to shout the price would get the trade as well. So you had to know all your prices off the top of your head pretty much. Yes. And
but you didn't know what was going on because you got the order there and then. It's not like something you could have prepared the night before.
No, because the market's constantly moving. So you got your pricing sheets. So someone would come in and go, what the 550 calls you, and the further you go 6.8. You shout it out really fast and you do the hand signal 6.8 real quick. He'd be like, how many? He'd be like 200.
Is it like you did something and you thought, oh shit, I better do a runner, and you go to the toilet?
No, you can't do that. Because
your reputation suffers, right?
If it's definitely your word.
If you can't follow up with an order or a call, you
couldn't get out of a trade. If you said buy him and he went 500, you'd be like, you had him, and that's it. You can't go, oh, I didn't mean to do that.
I'm in 250.
For a start, they'd be like, right, you're up. CUNT or whatever. It was brash and it was loud. And the big guys would come in and they would just stuff you with an order and they'd walk out. There's no chance for you to go, I only want to do 100. It'd be like, you've done 500, shut up or I'll never trade with you again. It was very, very aggressive environment.
And personal.
Very personal.
And
but I liked it.
Do you have the big fish on the terrace looking down?
No, no one was watching you. In fact, in those days, see now when you trade on a computer, all your risk is updated instantly on the press of a button. In those days, it could take a long time, especially if it was busy, for all your, I mean, the orders are in your pocket. So the clerks would come around and you flick the orders at them. We were fantastic at flicking paper.
Yes.
They'd catch them and they'd go back and they'd input them in the computer. So that process could take a while.
Scale, yeah.
Exactly. So there could be a delay. So you didn't always know exactly what your position was. So you would
And
estimate the hedge in your brain.
Yeah, exactly. Because you could sell or buy at the wrong time.
Yeah, exactly. So you had to figure out your gammas, your deltas, all these kind of Greek measurements in your brain.
Amazing.
Now, of course, it's all done for you.
You were good at what you did.
I made a living, so yeah.
Why were you good at it? Let's say some of our listeners or viewers are trading.
Yeah. Well, there was a different skill set.
It's a different skill set, right?
On the floor.
Because it's not so emotional, it's not so physical.
True.
So what would you say to today's...
Now,
yeah.
Patience. Patience is probably key because it's too easy to trade now. You click of a button, you can trade. Whereas on the floor, you know, you're waiting for the order flow. You're reacting to order flow most of the time.
And you can feel the energy in the room, right?
Absolutely.
I see.
Yeah, it was very exciting. I mean, so for example, when you're waiting for a big release like the US non-farm payroll, big number, everyone's, you know, the morning would be quiet. No one would really be getting very active. Most people had squared up their positions the day before.
Was the radio on? Was the TV
on? No. It was no. You couldn't have that.
Rumours. This just come out in the US, and
there would be like a Reuters screen with a ticker, so you'd have news updates. So we'd all be waiting, and it was really exciting. The like seconds before the number, everyone would be going, "Ooh,"
really,
stamping their feet, and then number would come out, the bell would go, and then number would come out, bang, and the whole place would erupt.
Now you were always doing forex, or you were doing?
No, I used to trade fixed income, which is interest rates.
Okay, but because you're dealing with the US, so you had funny hours, right?
No, I traded short sterling options. So the exchange opened at about 7 o'clock in the morning. Was usually shut by 5.
Okay. So you weren't waiting
European
for
products
news from the US.
Well, the US would certainly influence the market. So when it opened at 1:30 or 2:30, then it could move the market for sure.
Okay. Amazing. Amazing. Did you follow what I trade shares? Maybe it's different to what you do. I actually get a feel of one particular share and its movement.
Right.
I don't look at 50 different shares. I get 2 or 3 that I like.
Yeah.
And I kind of know a little bit about the business.
That's a good way to do it.
And I play the same stock, buy and sell the same stock.
Yeah, because you've seen where it went up to before and stopped and turned around.
They have a personality.
Yes.
Is that the same?
Absolutely. I would say each financial market can have a personality. And that's actually the basis of technical analysis. So what you're doing in your brain is basically remembering support and resistance levels.
Right.
So you're remembering that, last time it got to this price, there was it stopped. So I'm going to get out there.
Yes.
And last time it went down here, it bounced. So I'm going to try buying it there.
Yes.
That's
one thing I noticed, because I went some, you may not know, but it doesn't come across so obvious. I went to some courses. And when they were doing their resistance line, I didn't know where the resistance line should start from.
Right.
Because at any point you start, the chart can start, right? So if it's going like this and it's gone a bit like, you can start from here, it looks like a flat line. But if you start from here, it looks going up. So
yes.
Am I making sense?
You are making total sense. Yeah, I mean, you can join any point to any point, can't you? So,
exactly.
So
and
how
it makes
do you
it
know?
look good or flat.
Right.
So
yeah, I mean, generally the rule is for me that you join 2 consecutive points. You try not to miss out points.
Okay.
And the more points that hit the trend line, the more that trend line is reinforced. And therefore, once that trend line is broken, the
but
more
if you look at
significant it is.
it in a day, a graph in a day, you see a lot more going on. And if you look in 2 days, in 2 hours, there's a lot more movement, and it's exaggerated. But if you look at a month period, the movement is not as exaggerated. True. So, from your experience, do you do what, hourly?
Okay, so
daily.
The time frame that you look at is relevant to the time frame that you trade. So if you're a day trader and you tend to be out by the time you go to bed,
you do it hourly.
You would be looking at the hourly charts more than the daily charts. If you're longer term investor and you're holding positions for a month, 6 months, then really there's no point looking at the hourly unless you're absolutely trying to very much fine tune your entry.
That's interesting.
I
don't think about it. I just look at it as, I don't even look at what the chart's dates are.
Right.
I just look at the chart.
Well, for me, what's key is I do look at the weekly chart, daily chart, 1 hour and 4 hour charts. That tends to be. You have to be aware. For example, even if you're just a day trader, you have to be aware of what's on the weekly chart. If the market's been dropping and we're about to hit a massive support level going back, 4 years, big trend line and 500-week moving average,
Yes.
both are coinciding at the same level. You've got to be aware of that because, of course, the big guys who are trading longer
They
term
know.
and they move the market, they're going to be like, it's just about to hit our buy level.
There are market movers, aren't there? There's so much money
Definitely.
there.
The funds and the big traders, the banks, the funds, these are the guys who obviously can move the market because they're trading in bigger size.
I was told even billions can't move the market. Is that rubbish?
Billions can't move the market.
Yeah. Because it's so big now, the marketplace.
No, they can. I mean, the market
there
does
are-
move.
there are-
So it is order flow that obviously moves the market. And of course, someone like you or I, we can't move the market.
So we suffer. Because they could play us.
The retail
right?
traders do tend to be cannon fodder. There is that aspect
Because
to
I've
it.
looked at it, sometimes it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking,
Don't
somebody's
try and make sense of
manipulating.
it.
Yes, somebody's manipulating this.
Yes, I think there is an element of that for sure. Because look, if you've got billions to move and I've only got $1,000 to move,
got no
then
chance.
guess what?
He's got all the say.
He's got all the power, hasn't he? There's no point in me trying to sell into a market where one of the big banks is deciding that they are going to go long. I'm going to get run over.
Do you think they manipulate the market by coming out to the press and saying, we think this should be the price of this and this is... Do you think they send out PR to support their positions? And not necessarily the
I
truth?
don't know. I'm not sure how legal that would be either. So I'm not really an expert on that. There is obviously speculation and people believe that they do that.
There's lots of noise, isn't there? And
I think what you can sometimes see is they'll push the market one way because they think, the retail guys are long. I think we can push this against them. We can stuff it down their throats, and then we can buy it once they're done, and it'll go higher. I mean, certainly there was a lot of that used to go on. I think, but that's fine. That's perfectly legal trading. Yes. If you think you can move the market one way and squeeze people, I would try and do that if I thought I had enough power behind me.
What was the most amount of money that you controlled?
Well, it wasn't really amount of money, but my boss would certainly allow us to put big positions on if we felt it was right.
And how much was that?
Well, we would easily be risking $50,000 a day, or it wasn't unheard of to have 5-figure P&L swings in a day, and that was in the 90s. So that was
huge.
Pretty big.
Millions.
Pretty big. Yeah. I mean, nowadays there's lots
You
of people
never
who
ran
do
your
that.
own firm?
No, I didn't run my own trading firm. No.
Why?
Well, options is quite capital intensive. The margins can be quite big. So really, if you're going to trade options,
you
either got to have a lot of money or use someone else's money. Futures is a little bit. You can trade futures a little bit smaller. You can get in and out and get flat pretty quick. You can't get an options position flat very quickly.
So the risk was too much for you.
Yeah. I
And
didn't have enough
you
money
never-
basically.
Yeah, but you didn't go enough because you had a good reputation. Didn't you think of going to loads of investors, raise the money, open your own
Didn't
firm?
really happen in those days that much. It wasn't really like it is now where funds are set up, where people trade others, friends and family money or whatever. It didn't really happen like that. I think a few locals would have done that, trade friends and family money, but it wasn't that common really. And it was too wild for me to... I've in the past attempted to trade for friends and family, and I just get freaked out. I just can't bear to look at someone and say, I've just lost you 5%.
We attempted to do that. You said, no, take your money back, Dariush.
I did, didn't I? In the end, I just couldn't do it because you probably, like you said to me, I wouldn't care. If you lost 10 grand, I'd get over it.
Yes.
We'd still be pals.
Yes.
But I would always look at you in the eye and think, I lost 10 grand.
money.
And I could never treat you normally.
Yes.
I would always feel guilty.
Sure.
Yeah.
Amazing. Well, thank you for that. So you went to southern Spain, but then you could trade on the screen. So you could have been in London and trade in Gibraltar, right?
Correct.
So,
yeah, we used to joke on the floor that one day we'll all be doing this from a beach. So we got pretty close to it by going to Gibraltar, and it was all screen based. So I went down there. I traded Italian index options on the screen, and actually I was in Gibraltar when 9/11 happened, and I was trading out of an office when that happened. It's crazy.
What was the atmosphere in the office? Did they think there was going to be a second plane? Did
Well,
they
no,
think it
we
was
didn't.
an accident?
No, it
I
was
thought
totally
it was
confusing.
An accident,
It was totally confusing. No one knew what the hell was going on, and of course you're trying to focus on markets which have obviously kicked off because we're thinking, what the hell is this? It was unprecedented.
Yes.
And that's it. Once the second plane hit, bang. So because of my experience, I knew what to do. I just bought every option under the planet that I could buy.
Wow.
And
so you made money?
I did, but it was an odd feeling because of course you're not jumping around going, woohoo, I've just made all this money, when people are you're watching TV and people are jumping out of buildings.
I know.
And in fact, it was weird. I've never experienced anything like that before or since. the market actually, almost as a mark of respect, stopped trading. The volumes just dried up because I think all the traders were sickened by what they were seeing and just thought this is totally inappropriate that we should be making money out of this. And in the end, I don't know whether people in the banks were saying, look guys, just stop. This is just not right. So it was
Did you know anyone
odd that died?
Yeah.
I didn't know anyone personally, I don't think, but certainly there were friends of friends.
There's some firms were there.
Absolutely, yeah. Cantor Fitzgerald were there, and I think they still run a charity event to this day every year. So yeah, it was awful. It did touch the industry certainly quite directly.
I was driving on the motorway, and a friend of mine phone says, plane's gone into one of the twin towers. Go and see that. So I turned back and I found one of these service stations, and it's a Holiday Inn Express or something. I went in and there's 30, 40 business people, salesmen watching the TV.
Yeah.
And and then the second plane hit.
Yeah.
And they were just talking. It was like, oh look, I said, what the hell?
Do you not understand the
significance? The world's going to change.
Absolutely.
And they didn't get it. They didn't understand the significance. No, it just thought.
It took time for people to process it because it's unprecedented, and they didn't understand what that meant.
It was
but that's the thing. I didn't have time to go, ooh, what does that mean? I had to react in a split second. Yes. Otherwise, there was a lot of money at risk.
Yes.
It did work fine for me, but as I say, it was not a happy event. And
so that was 18 years ago. So how long were you in Spain? You hadn't met your wife then, so you've been with her 15 years, right?
Actually, we were friends.
Okay.
Already, so she moved down there, and I already knew her. And then when we got together, we were there for about 13 years. Really enjoyed it. And as I say, I had a lot of good pals down there, some traders from the floor and stuff. So it was
so it became your
home from home, really.
Yeah. I never settled in Spain. I did see the Costa del Crime. My neighbours weren't exactly the kind of people I wanted to socialise with. But you lived in a nicer area.
I don't know.
They were like, don't go over there because they're really rich. You were the guy in the Ferrari going there.
No,
I was enviously looking over the fence of your house. Do you ride any horses? Because everybody had horses there.
Oh God, yeah.
Horses. Do you have a yacht?
No, God, no.
You don't like boats. You like the sea thing.
I couldn't afford a boat.
You like your cars and bikes.
I like cars and bikes. Yeah, I could afford the cars and bikes.
So you invested in Thailand, and the investment didn't go according to plan.
No, not initially.
And then you thought for that purpose you moved to Phuket.
You've got to be there if you're going to do it.
You took over development that you had no idea how to run.
Not a clue. Bloody stupid. Really stupid.
Well, you say that, but you've done really well out of it, right?
Made it work in the end. Took longer than it should have done, and I learned a heck of a lot on the way, and probably took a few years off my life, but got there in the end, so I'm satisfied now. I'm very lucky.
But you still study markets.
Yeah, I'm quite addicted to them. I don't think there's a day gone by where I've not known what's going on in the financial world. So I have a service where I write reports every morning on about 18 markets. It takes me about 2-3 hours.
Every day?
Every day, without fail. Yeah, I've probably only missed 2-3 days in the last 10 or 15 years since I've been writing.
So what are your reports like? Literally you're writing like a book, or a chapter in a book or something, or your analysis?
It'll be 2 short paragraphs on each market. So for example, if you trade gold, I'll give the levels where I think it's worth entering a trade. So I'll say if it drops down to here, this is a really strong support level, so I think you should buy it here. And if it does work, and if it does bounce off this level, then these would be your targets. If it goes up to here, I think this might be the high for the day, so I would sell it here. And if it goes down, these would be your targets. And then I'll give a stop loss level. And if it breaks above, if you get stopped on this order, then it's broken through a significant resistance level, so it's probably right to go long.
So from your experience, you're guiding people on different markets.
Yeah.
And then you have people paying you on a monthly fee for taking those advice, right?
Yes.
Around the world.
Yes.
And how did they hear about you?
Well, I've got a website, and I'm on Twitter, Facebook, all the usual social media channels.
So you do post your findings and your opinions every single day on these platforms?
Most days I do give away lots of free stuff
to
kind of show that I know what I'm talking about. And my Twitter account's been going for, I think it must be 8 years now, so I've got a track record on there, for example, where you can see that I have at least...
you had people contact you saying, thank you, I made lots of money?
Yeah, I get that. Not a lot, but I certainly get it, and I've had subscribers that have been with me for years, so I know that they do make money.
Anybody threatened to kill you?
Threatened to kill me? No, but I have had... do you know what? I'm quite lucky. I haven't had many complaints. I did have one guy who said he lost 30 grand and it was all my fault. Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. I better not get into that on my own opinion. Probably not fair. He's not here to defend himself.
Did you reply or you just blocked him?
No, I replied, and anyway, I've got I'm on Site Jabber, so anyone who's not happy can easily leave their review.
I see.
But luckily enough,
so you judged, you rated.
Yeah, people, my subscribers, or even just followers.
Amazing.
Even if they're not subscribers, they can leave a review there.
You want to get back more and more into education, right? You want to.
I do, yeah. I don't trade much these days. Trading is very, very intensive and takes a lot of focus, and I can't do that with the development that is now renting to holidaymakers, and I got kids and things which I much rather prefer to spend time with.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I do actually enjoy teaching people. I didn't think I was much of a people person, but I say to people, look, if you've got a problem, just call me up. I give out my Skype number so anyone can call me, and yeah, I quite like chatting. And then you see, the thing is, when you've done something for a long time, you think certain things are just obvious and normal.
But other people don't see it.
Of course,
it's obvious to you.
Yeah, if a guy's been doing it 6 months or even 2 years, and then you think, oh God, yeah, of course, I can see why he wouldn't understand that. So I quite enjoy that. And for me, obviously having experience, it's not that difficult to try and figure it out. And I say something to them, and they go, "Oh God, yeah, of course." Yes. And I try and use little analogies like, "This is what it's like." Imagine if you're learning to drive a car. I say things like that, try and simplify it.
So they get it.
And they get it. And I really get a lot of satisfaction.
So that's
from that.
apart from your experience and your track record, that's another niche. You simplify it.
I can explain things quite clearly. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, well, I've figured out how to do that, I guess, from talking to so many people.
Yes. So what are you doing right now?
Well, actually, I've neglected the marketing side of that business because of the building and the holiday rental side of that business. So I need to get back into it, which is exactly why I need the services of Be Unique, because you've just developed me a wonderful website which is about to go live. So
we don't need to sell my.
I know I don't
promote
need to.
my.
I know
business.
I don't need to. But
thank you.
But Ali's been absolutely
please
tremendous.
Stop. Please stop.
Okay.
Yes. Don't tell me anymore how wonderful
I won't
my
say
company
any more about how wonderful
Dariush
and Ali are. No, really, truly, and you really have. So I'm very excited actually to launch the website, which might be as soon as this week, and then I'm very excited to talk to you about marketing it and getting it out there. It's a difficult task because when I first started, there was a handful of people doing what I'm doing, so it's quite easy to get out there and quite easy for them quite easy for you to be
differentiate
visible.
yourself.
Right, exactly. And I thought as time went by, with the track record and people could see, oh wow, this guy's been around a long time, we can trust him. But the thing is now, there are just thousands of people out there. Anyone
people
who's
are claiming, right? They can make any claims.
Absolutely. It's not a regulated industry.
Correct.
So
because I think you're advising and you're not trading, so
exactly. So I think I'm now got the problem of just being dropped in a big pile of people that are doing this, and it's hard to be visible and see that you're actually
amazing is that you constantly committed and you're constantly creating content.
Yeah,
which is
I
really
enjoy it.
Amazing. Yeah,
quite sad. I actually quite boring. And I enjoy it.
Somebody's doing it for just the money or falsifying things. They're not consistent.
Right.
You are.
Yeah, that's true. Well, someone told me a long time ago that actually it was a guy at Merrill. So I used to have a lot of banking clients, all the big banks actually, Morgan Stanley, Merrill Lynch, Deutsche Bank.
Yeah.
Right. So I was very proud of that.
So when you left the firm, people contact you because of your reputation and said, I'll pay you a monthly fee, the bank, and write, research, advise.
Yes.
Wow.
I still have some of those clients, but a lot of the banks no longer need the service because it's more run by quants than traders.
Amazing.
But I remember meeting a guy at Merrill Lynch and said, look, we don't expect you to be right every day, of course, but if you're going to provide a good service, you've got to be consistent. We want the reports delivered by 7 a.m. every day so that we can send them on to our clients. And I was already like that anyway. I'm kind of that kind of person.
Yes.
So it's stuck in my mind, like never ever be late, never ever miss a day. So even if I'm sick, I will get up at 3 a.m. and I will write the report.
Amazing. Now it's worse with the time difference with Phuket, no?
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Now I don't have to get up at 3 a.m.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. I can start at 7 or even 8 o'clock. So
amazing.
So that's certainly.
So what do you do? You are on your phone looking at things, writing down because you're at your development as well. That takes a lot of your time.
Yeah, well, I've got a quite nice plan. So I've always been someone who gets up early. So sometimes I will get up at 5. I never have an alarm. I don't need an alarm clock. I'll always wake up.
Yes.
So whatever time I get up, 5, 6, 7, I start writing my book. Then I am really quite sad because I actually get up and think, oh, wonder what happened overnight, and I can't wait to see, and start writing.
That's 5 days a week still?
5 days a week, yeah.
Okay.
I actually write the Monday's report over the weekend because I like to deliver it on a Sunday in case people want to have a look at it and get ready. So I do that and send them out usually by sort of 9:30, 10 o'clock, and then my day starts going into development, seeing my staff and checking whatever.
Because you look after your body as well, don't you? You go to the gym.
I try to, yeah, at my age.
Do you have your own gym or you go to the...
No, I just joined a gym around the corner. I try
So what
to
time
go
do you
most
go?
days. Yeah, that's not a regular thing. It's kind of, but depends on whether I'm off buying cement, filling up the truck with cement or some tiles or something.
But you always try to make time for it.
Yeah, I do. It's more vanity than anything else. I don't want to look in the mirror and see myself falling apart.
Look in the mirror and see me. Looking back at you.
You're a very well-built man.
3 chins.
Solid man.
Yeah, the chins
I
agree.
gave you a slap
like
on the arm
everything.
today and you're very solid.
Yeah. I was tensing. I could see it coming. I was watching, what was that? John Wick's?
Yeah.
John Wick. Oh my God! I made
brilliant.
such a rubbish movie in my life. It was like I was trying to count how many people it kills. I couldn't count fast enough.
I loved it.
It's actually amazing.
That kind of thing. Yeah, real trash.
And then I tried to sleep. And I couldn't sleep. I had people killing each other and stabbing each other and everything. Yeah. And then he said, "Take your clothes off," and he didn't look that fit. Keanu, like, "No, put your clothes back on again." I can't imagine you beating 1,000 people.
Yeah.
So well done to you. And now you've got a beautiful son who is a great footballer.
Thank you. Yes.
Do you go playing football? Do you encourage him, or he's just so self-motivated? Does it?
Yeah, he's very self-motivated.
He's started coming to the gym with you now, hasn't he?
He's come occasionally, but he trains almost every day for at least 2 hours. He's in an academy, so I'm very, very proud of him.
Yeah,
I've been watching him play football since he was 5, and I've hardly ever missed a game. So, as long as he wants me on the sidelines,
And he won a trophy this summer, didn't he?
Yeah, big.
Representing Thailand.
Absolutely, big event in Spain. So I was super proud of him. He actually took the last. Well, we went to penalties in semi-final. He took the last one, so I was absolutely in pieces watching that.
Were you nervous?
Oh my God, so nervous. Because you know that he's either the hero or the villain, and if he's if he misses it or he messes it up.
Do you know what's amazing? How they keep the calm at that
I
age.
don't know how he does it.
How to keep it cool.
My heart's beating now just thinking about it.
Yeah.
And then he was called to take the last penalty in the final. Oh my God. I said to my mate who was watching, I said, if he does this, I'm going to strip naked and run across the pitch.
And he did it though. He scored.
He did.
But he didn't strip naked.
Needless to say,
heard you
no
did.
one wants to see me strip naked.
I don't know. I remember my son Ali is 25 now.
Yeah.
And he used to try to score goals from the corner flag.
Wow, did he?
His left footer. He has such a talent. And every 3-4 games he scored one from the corner flag because I didn't know it was going to come.
Have you got them on video?
No, I'll tell you a quick story. Manchester City heard about. He was actually in the Manchester United academy.
I know.
And he got saying Alex Ferguson said he's got the most capability of becoming a professional player, but he didn't because he wasn't hungry enough.
Right.
When he saw people from Wythenshawe and stuff, and they were like going in and didn't care about breaking their legs, and my son was hesitating, he knew he wasn't going to make it.
Sure.
If I was on the sideline shouting and screaming, he would.
Yeah.
But he couldn't be there. And he became a nervous wreck. Dad's here, oh God, he's going to shout and scream at me. So what happened was, it was my son's 10th birthday, and Manchester City invited him to be a mascot. And it was Manchester City versus Tottenham Hotspur semi-finals of the FA Cup. So he went on, and his, from the mother's side, grandfather, bought us a new camera. He said, use this camera and video him.
Terrific.
I said, so fine, I was going to use mine. He said, no, it's a better resolution or whatever. So we got this camera, but it was really unusual shaped. It was just flat. So you held it like this. And they said, as a father, you can actually video him coming through the tunnel and going and playing and shooting at the goalie. So I videoed everything. He came out, went to the halfway line, shook their hands, went, and he started scoring against the City. And the main road were going crazy because he was scoring really good goals, right? So he came home, and I thought, I got the best footage.
I think I know what you're going to say.
I got the best footage.
Did you have the camera the wrong way around?
Yeah, I was filming my face.
Oh my God, I knew you were going to say
I got
that.
home, all you could see was my cheek going, oh wow, amazing, really good. I could have died.
No.
I could have died.
I bet you could.
And the funny thing is, during that week, I saw 2 or 3 people who went, did you see that kid scoring goals? I was like,
really? My son?
Yeah, I missed it. Really weird. Honestly, to date, I'm thinking, what the hell did I do? It was just a flat camera.
So easy
and I was
to
thinking,
do.
why can't I zoom in?
Right. Oh man.
I missed it all. Anyway, it's in the memories and yeah. But you know when you just want to just dig a hole and the whole family's watching TV and you just see your face. It wasn't very good.
I feel for you, but at least you watching the goals. At least you were there to see.
Yeah, but not as much because I was thinking there's a distance where everybody else was watching, so I even missed that. I was trying to zoom in and it wouldn't work. But anyhow, so education. So what do you want to do? You want to push this education to the masses, right?
I really do, actually, because so for example, I follow Twitter a lot, and you see people on there who have been trading for 6 months, and they're talking about, here's a head and shoulders pattern, and I'm just like, oh my god, it is not a head and shoulders pattern. And you know, all these patterns that are relatively simple, but they're easy to misinterpret, and I stupidly get quite upset about it. And so as I say, I do actually enjoy teaching people. I enjoy the interaction. I enjoy seeing people actually turn their accounts around and start making money. I've got a guy at the moment actually in Wales, a really nice guy, and he came to me. You know, most people come to me when they've had a rough time. They've lost money, and they finally find me and say, look, I've read your, I see you've been around for a while, and I think you're authentic. I've been ripped off. I've been following other people. So that's usually how they find me. And for example, I get emails from this guy quite regularly now, and it started off with, I did this wrong, and now I'm starting to get, I had a really good month, and I made 3%, and I love that, really enjoy it. In fact, I'm meeting him next week.
So you care, you get to know.
I get a kick out of it. I really get a kick out of it. I met some guys the last time I was over in England, and I just met them. I actually like to meet people one-on-one. I was going to do a seminar. I met them one-on-one, just in a bar, and we were just chatting. I was just like, what's your problem? And this guy, simple problem. I just can't use stops. I keep running my stops, instead of getting out of position when I should do. So we had a chat, and I just said a few things, and he was like, oh wow. And then he emailed me for 2 weeks going, oh, you know what, I've stopped at this, and then I've done this. He'd give me all his trades, and I'd look through his trades, and it was it's great to see someone actually making money. Yeah.
But most people lose money.
Of course.
Because it's emotions. They get the emotional ego involved.
Definitely.
Wow, amazing.
Well, if you just stick to basic rules, you wouldn't lose much, at least. But of course, human nature, you can't. The gambling instinct kicks in. You're losing money on a position. You can't bear to take the loss. It's all psychology.
Amazing. So, give me 2 advices for traders that they can take away from this conversation today to become better traders.
The first one is you absolutely must place a stop loss order.
So, rule number 1: don't lose more than you can.
Right. So when you decide I'm going to buy gold at whatever it is, $13.
That should be it.
You must decide what the price is when you are wrong. So you must decide. Well,
because people move it, right? They move it depending on their feelings.
Yeah, exactly. And you can't do that. If you've decided that $13 is a really good support level, and we're in a bull trend, and you want to buy it on a dip there, okay, that's a really good strategy. Buying in a bull trend at support level when the market pulls back. Great, that is a good strategy. Stick to that one, and in the long run you'll make money. But you must have a stop loss level, because just because it's in a bull trend doesn't mean it won't break that support and go to the next support level. So you've got to, and the problem is people think it's definitely going to bottom there. I don't need to put a stop.
I've been there.
Right, we've all done it.
And it just goes
bang. It goes down to the next support level.
And it's the same when I'm making money as well. I move, so that was easy. I just move it a little bit higher, and it doesn't quite reach, and it drops something. I missed that opportunity. Why would I get greedy?
Well, that's the thing. Before you get into the position, you're unemotional. You've got no emotional attachment to that trade or the money or anything. As soon as you're in it, then that's when the emotions happen, because you're making or losing money. And that's when your judgment goes out the window. It's either greed or fear.
So stick to the rule that you set from the beginning.
It's very simple. If I can buy it at $13 and I can sell it at $13 and $13.08, for example, I'll make $8. If it goes below $12.96, I'm wrong and I need to get out. And the good thing is, when you're out, you might have taken a small loss, but it's a small loss, and you're now ready to move on to the next trade. Whereas if you're nursing that trade, it might go up, it might go down. You might have missed 3 other trading opportunities where you might have, won on 2 and lost on 1. And you might actually have recovered that and be up. But you're nursing this losing trade, or you're maybe now falling into bigger losses. And also, going back to your example, you don't put a stop in. Market plummets, and it probably goes to the next support level. Now that's where you would have been getting in if you'd stopped out.
But you're already out.
But you're nursing, and you're now in so much pain. You're probably getting out where you should be getting in.
I've been there.
Right, we've all done it. I've done it countless times, and that's how I know so well what not to do. So you're now, not only have you made a much bigger loss than you should have done, but you're not going to make the money back that you should have done if you were getting in where you're getting out. Yeah.
Also, I noticed that it's crazy. I know it sounds stupid, but it's so basic. If you were $100, you lose 10%. It goes to 90, and it gains 10%. You go to 99.
Exactly.
Right. The movement of low is massive, and the movement of high is a little bit less.
Yeah, you lose 50% of your account. You've got to make 100% to get it back.
Exactly.
You're not going to do that quickly.
Yeah.
And people, of course, they revenge trade. So they're like, damn it, I've lost that
get
money.
It back.
I shouldn't do it.
Right,
I'm definitely going to do this, and I'm going to do twice as many as I did the last time. And bang, you've just lost another 10% in a heartbeat. And then you're all over the place. So it is really an emotional game. And if you stick to the rules and keep the losses small, then
last month
you stand a chance.
I trade stock. I bought some options, calls. And I'm not joking, I got emotionally involved because I was going to get a lift to go to my apartment and the markets were going to close. And I bought 4 calls in a matter of 5 minutes. As the shares was collapsing, I was like, I'll go in here. It's going to turn, it's going to turn, it's going to turn. They all expired. And it never turned.
Yeah. That's the thing. You didn't plan the trade. You weren't looking at some evidence
I was like,
on a chart
I've
or
got
something.
to do this before market closes and I get to the lift because I lose connection.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were punting. There's nothing wrong with punting as long as you accept that you are punting and you're not
stuck to one
trading.
Call and not getting emotionally involved.
Yeah.
Amazing. What's the second?
What would my second rule be? I suppose it would actually be trading the direction of the trend. Because,
meaning?
Well, so for example,
going up.
Gold is in a bull trend right now.
Yes.
It's going up. Most days it goes up. So what will tend to happen in a bull trend? Market will go up. It'll burst higher. Then it'll trade sideways for a little bit. Then it'll burst higher. So even if where you've bought it, even if you bought it at the peak of the last burst and it retraces a bit,
it's going to go past that.
Eventually, because we're in a bull trend, it will eventually go past it. Whereas if what tends to happen is people go, oh, it's in a bull market. I definitely want to buy it. I'm definitely going to buy gold. And then it goes up and they go, oh shit, I didn't buy it. It's gone up so much. It's got to come down. It's got to come down. I'm going to sell it. You end up being short something that you knew you needed to be long.
Yes.
And all that happens is, of course, it keeps going up.
And
you're in a bigger and bigger hole.
Trend, yes.
So you're now short into a market that you knew was going up, but because you didn't get in at the right level, and then of course you're like, why am I losing so much money when gold is going up when I knew it was going up? I didn't pull the trigger. So that's why I would say just trade with the trend, because even if you're in a bad level, the trend will rescue you eventually. If you go against the trend.
You can see this going towards artificial intelligence, can't you? You can see systems seeing these patterns.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Looking at order flow.
Amazing.
Yeah. Not something I know about, I must admit, not something I know about. But
I think we'll see the massive change in our lifetime.
Oh, for sure. It's already happening. I mean, banks are getting rid of traders who are trading on gut feeling. That's definitely a thing of the past, and AI is definitely taking over. I think my generation is the last breed of that kind of trader. Some of my friends are still in the industry, but few and far between now.
Yes. Yeah. Amazing. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Good question. I've actually just been offered a job at a private equity fund, which is based in Singapore, but they're going to have an office in Bangkok. And I'm quite keen on that. It's a new challenge, not really involving technical analysis. So if I take that, maybe I won't be able to do the technical analysis, but the challenge would be a lot of fun. I think I'd learn a lot.
Yes.
So that might happen.
You have to wake up slightly few earlier hours to do your articles and then do the...
unless I can do that. Yeah, I think I'd have I'm addicted to it, so I think I'd struggle to give it up.
But that's in the Far East, yes?
Yeah, that'll be in Thailand where I live now, so that'll be in Bangkok, and then I'll commute back.
Why Bangkok? Is it a big market?
The guy that's setting the fund up has excellent business connections in Bangkok, so he really knows where to invest.
There's money in Thailand, isn't there?
There is definitely money in Thailand. There's definitely money in Bangkok. Wow. People think it's a third world country or whatever, but
it's a strong currency.
Yeah, very strong.
Well, the surplus. They have a surplus.
Yeah,
don't they?
very much so. They learnt from it was Thailand that triggered the Asian crisis in 1998, and since then they certainly learnt.
Wow.
How to keep them.
And their money comes from what? Natural resources, tourism.
Tourism's a big one. Natural resources I think is also. I don't know much about the Thai economy.
They have oil. I think they have oil.
I don't know.
Malaysia's got oil. Thailand.
Yeah, palm oil is a big one, isn't it? Yeah, I'm not too hot on the Thai economy, I must admit. I understand the tourism industry because I'm
Yes.
part of that.
Well, Bangkok's huge though, isn't it?
Yeah, Bangkok I think is the first or second most visited city in the world, consistently.
Crazy.
It's a terrific city.
Crazy. So we're going to be seeing you in Bangkok, all over Far East, and you're going to be doing your seminars.
Yeah,
right?
I really want to start seminars. I've done it on a small scale, helping people, on the phone and just hooking up with them one-on-one. But if I could expand that and do it on a little bit of a larger scale, it'd be great fun.
So you actually have many hundreds and thousands of people in the past who paid you monthly fees for your expertise. Please don't undersell yourself.
Yeah.
It's true.
Okay.
So where can people find you, Jason?
Daytradeideas.co.uk. My Twitter.
Daytradeideas.co.uk.
Yep. Ideas with an S on the end. .co.uk. My Twitter handle is daytradesignals. I've got over 8,000 followers on there, I think. Yeah,
and they're engaged though, aren't they? They're engaged.
Yes.
It's not just followers pressing likes.
No. I get lots of likes and retweets and stuff, which
Yes,
I quite
yes,
get a kick out of. I'm always seeing who's retweeted what.
Yes.
So yeah, I enjoy that. I'm easy to find anyway. My name is Jason Sen, S-E-N. So if you just Google that, you'll get a good 3 or 4 pages on me at least. My stuff's published on various different financial websites every day as well. So I'm fairly easy to track down.
And we look forward to promoting you, allowing the
I'm
masses to hear about you. So thank you so much.
Working with you.
I hope you enjoyed this podcast. I don't know how long we've been, but it's another hour. Yeah, amazing.
Thank you so much. Really
Absolute
enjoyed it.
pleasure. Thank you for coming to
Cheers, buddy. Thanks for inviting me.
Dubai. We're going to see you again very soon.
Yep.
Thank you,
For
Jason.
sure.